To break it down with us, Krieger, two-time World Cup champion with the U.S. women's national team. Before we get to the game against New Zealand and the matches against Australia, I just want to start with you. This is the first time the U.S. women's national team has been in a major international tournament without you since 2012. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What's it like watching these games from the outside now?
It is tough. Hi, both of you. It's great to be here. It is tough. Obviously, I want to be there. I want to play. I want to have an impact on the games. And this is the first time I haven't been involved, in a major tournament. So you're right. It's a bit different. I have more time on my hands, and I'm more focused, I think, with the Orlando Pride, obviously this summer. So it's okay. I'm not okay with it. I, disagree with his decision, but no, I'm okay, and I'm enjoying watching the team win, at least this last game.
That sounded like I'm okay. Everything's fine. I'm okay.
It's fine. Let's not talk about it.
Let's talk then about the New Zealand game. A 6-1 win for the U.S. Is this official? Everything's fine? Total bounce-back performance? Or is this more they ran into a really weak opponent? And that's just not a weak opponent in New Zealand, but if we're being honest, Ali, here, an opponent that hadn't really, because of COVID-19 restrictions, been able to prepare for this tournament. So is the U.S. officially back and fine, or are there still some concerns coming out of this?
I mean, listen, it's early on in the tournament. Obviously, I think, there's players that aren't necessarily in form, and it's not just one or two. I think that it was a great 3 points, and we needed that win. We needed to build on that confidence, because moving into the next rounds, especially the next game, is really important for us, and we have to win. And I think that, starting off the tournament, not as well, but there's still plenty of time. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to get in form, later on in the next few games.
So we saw the U.S. women bounce back offensively, but defensively, Ali, you've played on this defensive line. You play with these players. A few mistakes. The goal comes off a mistake that New Zealand capitalizes on. What's going on with the defense? Why are they so shaky?
I trust our back line, and they've performed so well over the years and so solid and confident. So I just think that that lineup was always planned. And I think that, off of these games, they just need to tidy up a few little details, the unforced errors. Obviously, that goal was a mistake, but I know that that wasn't on purpose. And I think that, just kind of going back to the drawing board, they can build confidence off of those goals that they scored anyway. But yes, I mean, moving into the later rounds, that's not going to be acceptable. And we need to tidy it up a bit and show that we are the United States, and we are the team that is wanting to win this gold medal. And we do need to tidy up those unforced errors and just kind of get a little bit more compact and more organized. And that starts from the back.
Well, speaking about starting from the back, next opponent, Australia. Sam Kerr, what's the key to stopping this unbelievable forward? You've known her for many years from playing with her at league play, at club level. What's the key to this?
She's an amazing forward, and she loves to get in between the seams and get in behind off your shoulder. So you have to always know where she is. And even back to goal, they can't let her have the time of day. They need to get right on her. They need to disrupt her as soon as possible, especially when she's back to goal. But always have an idea of where she is. So every player in the back line needs to know, because she does enjoy the game, making those runs in behind and off your shoulder. So the defense needs to always have their head on a swivel and be prepared for her making those runs in behind.
Ali, speaking of forwards and players you know well, Alex Morgan. So she starts the opening match but comes off after 45 minutes, then doesn't start the game against New Zealand. This was a huge surprise to me. What do you make of how Vlatko Andonovski is using Morgan through these first couple games?
Yes, of course, we saw that, she didn't have the best 45 minutes that she's ever had. But that doesn't mean she's not going to be an impact, in the next games coming up. I really feel like as an opponent, I am scared and nervous to play against an Alex Morgan, because when she is in form, she's lethal. And you could see that with that goal against New Zealand, her trigger is so quick. And I think that her placement was excellent. I think she had a direct impact impact in the game. Once again, it's not just her that hasn't quite gotten into the form that she needs to be in this tournament, but that doesn't say that it's not going to happen this game. So I do think opponents need to be scared. I train against her every single day, and she's one of the best forwards in the world. And so we haven't seen the best yet, but there's still time, and she's going to be an impact in these games coming up.
Ali, we've seen two very different performances from the U.S. women these Olympics. How confident are you in a victory versus Australia tomorrow?
I'm very confident. Obviously, we're playing against our former coach, Tony Gustafsson, who knows our team very well. And a lot of the players, in the Australian squad have played in the NWSL and are very familiar with our U.S. team. So that does, play a little bit of an advantage for Australia. But I do think we have a capability of winning again, getting these 3 points. We do have to be aware of Sam Kerr. That is very important for everyone on the field. It's not just the back line, but everyone needs to be prepared and know where she is on the field, because that is their weapon and that is who they're going to be looking for.
Hey, Ali, I got one more question for you, because I think you can give us a good perspective on it. You obviously worked under Jill Ellis for a long time. A lot of people talk about the differences between the Jill Ellis era and the Vlatko Andonovski era. What do you think the kind of key differences are between these two coaches and then what we see from their respective national teams?
Yeah, great question. I think that Jill is more of a managerial role. I think she manages the players, and then Tony was more so our trainer, so to speak, and was very detail oriented, which I think that also has a connection with Vlatko, who is also very detail oriented. But Vlatko is more of like a hands-on type head coach. And sometimes you don't see that often. You just see a head coach kind of in that manager role, and then you have your assistants doing the training and getting that work in. So I think that is the biggest difference. And Vlatko is up all night watching video, clipping video, watching training sessions from the start to finish. He is very involved in the training. And I think that was, one of the biggest differences that I've seen and have experienced with both of these coaches.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.